Welcome to another episode of 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes. I'm Jason Holcomb, joined as always by the coach. Coach, wanted to set the tone early in our final game of the season. We did just that. We made sure to put that game away early, and we played hard. Tell me what you saw out of that game that makes you feel good going into this week.
Well, there's no question, Jason. We came out of the gate, we jumped on them, and I think we'd scored within 2 plays. From an offensive standpoint, like broke the opening kickoff. Defensively, played really solid football, created a lot of field position for us offensively. And then to finish off the first half with a legitimate 2-minute drive where we had to run 6-7 plays, no huddle, fast tempo, so on and so forth was huge. Got our starters in one series right there in the second half and had a running clock the whole second half. Turned the football over with our young guys. That was disappointing. We mishandled the snap to turn the football over and set them up in position, and they were able to hit a home run over the top of one of our freshman DBs there, and that was a great learning experience for him. Don't think he's going to want to be that guy in the future that gives up that big play. And then turned around and finished off with another kickoff return after their score. So it was a great night. A lot of different guys contributed. Markel Mitchell had a phenomenal night at quarterback, maybe his best night. He was 7 of 8 throwing, had a touchdown, no interceptions. Scored on 2 short touchdown runs, had another decently touchdown run from 12, 15 yards out, and then had a touchdown pass to Gabe Guyton. So he had a phenomenal night.
Yes, and while we're talking about players, let's go ahead and check out our Optim Player of the Week. All right, Coach, we were talking in the pre-show. Elijah had stepped up, played hard. I know he was very proud, and I know you were very proud to see him step up in that way.
Well, we had a couple of running backs out. We did not play our starting fullback, Josh Isaac. We did not play Quay Ashley, starting running back. Both of them were banged up a little bit. We thought if we could get by without having to play them, that would be huge. Well, it turns out that Elijah had to step in and play fullback for Josh Isaac, but then he also had to play strong safety. So he went from a guy who was a special teams guy getting a few reps to a guy that had to go both ways all night long. I thought he did a phenomenal job of running the football at fullback. He ran physical, he took care of the football, he blocked well, and then on the defensive side of the ball, he was always where he needed to be. And with him as a senior and the leadership that he's given this football team to step up and play that role for us, I think is maybe not total stat-wise, because I mentioned earlier, Markel had a phenomenal night. Markel has had those phenomenal nights.
Right.
Elijah had to step in and raise his game, and he did. And therefore, from both sides of the football and having a great night, we're proud to say Elijah Cates was our Optim Player of the game.
And we're so thankful to folks at Optim, not just for helping us celebrate this Player of the Week, but for all the services they provide our young people. They are phenomenal. They're the best in the business, and we're grateful. Thank you again, Optim, for all that you do. Thankfulness is what we're talking about this week is Thanksgiving, and I think we've got a holiday-themed Ask Lucky, so let's check that out.
Lucky, talk about a great week. First, we get Thanksgiving on Thursday with turkey and fixins, and then we get Friday playoff football.
Yes, this week my family celebrates our role in helping the pilgrims in the New World.
That's not right. Squanto and the Patuxet tribe helped the pilgrims.
That is mostly right, like saying the Vols didn't lose to Texas A&M.
Still, what would anybody back then need for the autonomous field striping robot?
We lived a much simpler life back then. My ancestors helped create the straight rows for the pilgrims to plant and grow their maize.
Whatever. From here on out, it's win or go home. What do we need to do?
The Vols have been playing the or go home card for years.
Focus, it's the playoffs.
We must not forget what got us here, and keep doing that.
That's better. And what's that?
It's for you. It's a coloring page where you have to circle the 10 mistakes.
Oh, I get it. Smokey shouldn't have been in the first Thanksgiving picture.
No, he shouldn't be holding up a number 1.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Well, Coach, he couldn't help himself. Even resorted to coloring sheets to try to tease on the 4 balls. I'm guessing he's thinking you're distracted with playoff football preparations.
Well, he's right. I ain't got time to mess with that gosh dang robot. It's football season, and at the end of the day, I live and die with the Irish. You know, I'm a Vol fan, but what happens in Knoxville really has no bearing on what happens in Dublin, Georgia. So let's lock in on the Irish and see what we can do. Lucky, I don't get mad, I get even.
Yeah, and we got to be careful because you got to realize that while Coach White may bark, Coach Holmes will bite. And so we got to be careful about that. And we hope this season stretches long enough that Coach Holmes forgets all of these slights that have been going on. So Lucky, for your sake, we hope that everything turns out. But Coach, this week we're going to be breaking bread with turkey time, but Friday is going to be a whole different ball game, and we're going to be stepping into playoff football. It's win or go home, and we get to welcome the Terrell Green Wave to the Shamrock Bowl Friday night. What are we having to do this week to ensure that we're guaranteed next week?
The same formula we've used, I think, around here for a long time. It's be sound fundamentally, offensively, and take care of the football. Take advantage of what they give us, you know, and when their alignments and stuff, they're going to force our offensive line to have to be on their P's and Q's because they do move their fronts around quite a bit and give you some issues there. I think the strength of their offensive football team is their short passing game.
Yes.
They control the football with the short passing game and move the chains that way. Now they'll occasionally take a deep shot, and when that sometimes they've been able to hit that deep shot. But for us, control the clock, maintain the football offensively. It's going to be a huge night for our offensive line. Defensively, you can't give those receivers a lot of space because that quarterback can put it in a pretty tight window.
I saw him throw a pretty good deep ball too against Seminole in the highlights I watched. We want to make sure that you guys are able to come out this week and support the Irish as they head into the playoffs. It's very important that you understand that tickets are going to be hard to come by because there's not as many with the capacity restrictions, and they're still in place. Pre-sale is going to be taking place on Wednesday from 3 to 5 at the main office there at the high school. They're also going to do a little pre-sale Friday afternoon for the same time, but obviously you can pick them up that evening as well. But want to strongly encourage y'all to go ahead and get those tickets to ensure that you're able to come to the bowl and celebrate these Irish as we head into the playoffs. If you're not able to get to the game but want to support the team, we've got a couple of other options for you. Obviously, NFHS is our live stream platform. Mr. Ellenberg and his crowd will be out there filming. Got to subscribe and you get to get into the game, watch the game that way. They put together a fantastic broadcast. And then if you're not able to do that, we've also got a radio option with 101.3. Coach Strick and Todd Gay come at it and they're going to be ready. The only thing I haven't seen this year is he's got that evil leprechaun. He hasn't shown up in the social media. I'm gonna have to tease him about that, but y'all make sure to check out these Irish here. It's a special team. They've done some fantastic things. We want to make sure that you guys celebrate these young men, hopefully for a deep run into the postseason. Well, Coach, before we wrap things up, it's playoff edition, so it's playoff mustache time. So we must ask you a playoff question. All right, Coach. Well, you know, most of the time when we talk about playoffs, it's playoff beards. You know, that's what the hockey folks are always known for, is beard. And then, of course, this is No Shave November, which you and I don't really ascribe to that because it doesn't amount to much if we let it grow, you know. So, at any rate, let's go ahead and go to the mustache matchup this week. And this week, we've got Calgary Flame star Sam Bennett with that big, fat Sam mustache there looking like a cowboy, which Calgary is kind of like the West for Canada. And now we're going to switch over to Tony Barnett of the Texas Rangers. His looks more like General Custer. Who you got this week, Coach?
I'm going to have to go out of the country and go with the Calgary Flames.
All right, so we're going to go to Mr. Bennett this week, who's the winner of the mustache matchup. Again, we want to thank you guys always for tuning in. NFHS is where you're going to catch us for the live stream. 101.3 is where you're going to catch us on the radio. Thank you, Optim, for all that you do. Thank all our sponsors, all our supporters, and let's try to help these Irish make a deep run. This has been 3rd and 3 with Coach Roger Holmes.